Today is day 9, I do believe. I think it's yes, day 9 of 30 days of mental skills. And I'm discussing again today goal setting, hence the target up on the screen there, representing this aspect of mental skills, one of 9. And yesterday I was talking about goal setting also. In particular, I was talking about the importance of setting values or establishing values or realizing your values, um, recognizing your values, because as I said, values are inherent. They are there. They are what you stand by, what you stand for rather. And setting goals without first of all establishing your values can sometimes lead you down the wrong road. You can get caught up in head goals, be distracted by bright, shiny things. And so, values are an important first step. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about goals and goal setting, and in particular, the SMART framework. The SMART framework was developed from the work of people like Edwin Locke and Gary Latham. Around about the mid 80s, mid to late 80s, early 90s, they developed goal setting theory, published a book around 1990 on the topic, and it was informed through various other models of motivation and success, the pursuing of success and performance and so forth, mainly in the workplace, but they apply to everyone, everywhere, and the framework is universal. Now, there are some downsides to goal setting, and they are important to consider. I'm going to talk about those tomorrow, so make sure you come back for more on this topic. Tomorrow will be our final day on goal setting, but you'll notice as we discuss these 9 mental skills, you'll see that they all overlap. You'll see how motivation and goal setting is, maybe we're talking about the same thing. Maybe we're talking about personality, maybe our ability to focus and tune in our attention faculties, maybe our ability to work with other people and manage our emotions and so forth. All this stuff is related. So they're not discrete little things that sit on their own. It helps us talk about them to break them down into frameworks and so forth. But we're really talking about the same thing: how to behave in such a way that life uh, is meaningful and has purpose, and achievement and pursuit of goals is a part of that. So, Locke and Latham um, began this pursuit or this development of goal setting theory in the 80s. And they were informed by various ideas and concepts from the workplace and work psychology. And they said in their book that um, this goal setting theory, this framework for success, revolves around particular elements or 3 common features. So, the first common feature, whether we're pursuing goals consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, whatever way you want to put it, is that human beings, as it is with all organisms, living organisms, um, this energy for action or this pursuit is born from an internal source. So, although there are extrinsics, and we talked about this when we were looking at motivation, pursuit of goals comes from the organism. It's inherent in the organism. We have consciously pursued goals and we have unconsciously pursued goals. The pursuit of biological entities towards life and growth and development and continuation of the species. There's also something they refer to as value significance. So all goal-directed behaviour, according to Locke and Latham, has significance for the organism in terms of its survival. And the third component they spoke about was goal causation. So it's the attainment of goals is caused by consciousness. So the conscious entity is a central aspect of the pursuit of goals. Now, this flies in the face of behaviorism, B.F. Skinner and his cohort, which said that all behavior of an organism is contingent upon the environment. I mentioned this maybe yesterday or the day before, and that it is the prospect of consequences that behavior is born out of. Whereas Locke and Latham insisted that It's your vision, your expectation for the future, your imagination play a central role. Your consciousness plays a central role in the pursuit of goals. And so, as this framework was developed, or as the theory was developed, the framework was born out of it. The SMART framework. You've probably heard of it, right? So, the SMART framework suggests that the goal must be specific, it must be meaningful, it must be achievable, realistic, and time bound. Although there are variations on that, and the one I want to talk to you about today is the one developed or um, developed further by uh, Russ Harris, and he's the author of a book called The Happiness Trap. I mentioned him yesterday, at least I think I did. And his version of SMART suggests that, just like the original formulation, the goal needs to be specific, it needs to be meaningful rather than measurable. Right? The original idea was that it has to be measurable. You have to be able to quantify it. But Russ Harris says, hang on, it should be meaningful if it's to be effective. It must be adaptive. In other words, it must change your life in a positive way, but also the conditions of your life must allow for the adaptation rather, of the goal itself. It must be realistic insofar as you must feel that you are capable of achieving it. There must be a degree of self-efficacy attached to the pursuit of the goal, and it must be time bound. So set a date, or it doesn't have to be like 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, on the 26th of September or whatever. It can be by the end of September. So it's giving yourself some leeway, right? So it goes back to the idea that the goal must be adaptive. So to be more specific about this, let's say I wanted to run 5K in under 24 minutes, which is an achievement for me because I just about got in under 25 minutes in a recent attempt. And I'd like to break 24, and eventually I'd like to break 23. But as if you've ever ran or done any athletics in school and stuff like that, you'll know that all your efforts have depreciating returns. In other words, if you start running for the first time and you're athletic in nature, and you'll see big gains initially, just like with weight loss, in fact. But eventually your gains will be smaller and smaller for the degree of effort. So you have to be more structured, and your training has to be more tailored and so forth. But for me to break 24 minutes is a significant achievement. So it is specific, right? Specific in the sense that I want to run 5K in under 24 minutes. That's very specific. So for you, it could be weight loss. For you, it could be a financial goal. Whatever it happens to be, make it specific. So a vague goal might be, I want to spend more time with my kids, or I need to spend more time with my kids. That's aspirational, but it's not very specific. To be more specific, you might say, well, I'm taking the kids out every Saturday, maybe to a climbing wall, or maybe we're going to do something else fun, or maybe we're going to go for a meal, or we're going to do something specific. So make it specific, and you're more likely to achieve it. It must be meaningful. So this goes back to what we were talking about regarding values yesterday. So it must be personally meaningful to you. It must genuinely align with your value system, rather than trying to appease other people or gain recognition from others, or avoid some kind of perceived pain or discomfort in the future. It must have meaning. It must be intrinsically motivating to you. We were talking about motivation a few days ago. Okay, so it must have meaning if you are to increase your chances of achieving it. It must be adaptive. It must somehow change your life for the better. It must be likely to take your life forward in a direction that you perceive as being positive, or others, you and everybody else. It also must be adaptive insofar as if your life circumstances change, that you must be able to modify the goal and maybe push it out a little bit. So, for example, you set a goal to a financial goal, or you want to save enough money, I don't know, to go to Florida on your holidays, and in the middle of it, a parent dies or some other catastrophic event, that's going to disrupt your progress. Absolutely, right? So you got to be able to and willing to push it out and make that okay. Now you got to hold yourself accountable as well. Um, Accountability partners can help with this, or being part of a community or peer support group. I think I mentioned that a couple of days ago. Um, to hold you accountable, all else being equal, they'll help you do that. But your goal must be adaptable, and it must be able to adapt your life in a positive way. It must be realistic. So let's go back to the 5K goal that I set. I'm already, I've already ran a 5K in under 25 minutes, 4 minutes and 40 seconds or whatever it was. It's achievable to me. It appears realistic to me that I can achieve that goal inside, let's say, a couple of months. Where was I? Yes, realistic. So it must be realistic. You got to take into account your current health circumstances, your financial situation, your commitments to other members of the family, your kids, and so forth. There are dangers to being, to being too blinkered in your approach to your goal, and other things begin to suffer. That's not what you want. It shouldn't have a detrimental impact on others. And oftentimes we take pride, we're at risk of taking pride in ourselves that we can blinker out everything and sacrifice all these other things in the pursuit of a goal, when in fact that in itself leads to all kinds of other complications and difficulties in life, and it's rarely worth it, right? So you're pursuing a business goal, you want to achieve a particular market share or build this thing that you're building successfully and so on, and yet you don't spend any time at home with your family and friends, and so your family and your kids and so on, and when they're 19 and 20 you have no relationship with them. That to me is not worth it. So it's got to be realistic. And then finally, T in SMART refers to time bound. So set a date. So referring back to the 5K goal, I want to set this goal. I want to achieve 5K inside 24 minutes within the next 3 months, because a minute is a big chunk, and you're going to have to put in a lot of effort. You're going to have to keep your diet clean. You're going to have to make sure you're well hydrated, that you're training well, that you've got structure and a plan and so forth. So I think 3 months is realistic once I have that set in stone. If I get injured, well, I'm going to push that out a little bit. So that's what it looks like for me. If I was setting a goal, hopefully that's helpful for you. I've attached at the bottom of this video links where you can get the personal values worksheet, if you haven't got that already, the SMART or goal setting worksheet, and also a link to Russ Harris' worksheets from his book. It's available freely online. You just have to search for it. So I've included a link to that too. There's a particular framework. SMART lays that out. Maybe it works for you. Oftentimes, when we try these things on our own, there is a chance that we're not successful. So look for a peer group, look for others upon whom you can rely for support and so on. You're more likely to achieve your goal. Hopefully that's helpful. We're finishing up tomorrow on goal setting. I'm going to talk about the darker side of goal setting and negative outcomes that can arise as a result. This is all part of the 30 days of mental skills. I'm building a program. It's called Essential Mental Skills. It's launching soon. Again, there's a link at the bottom of this video where you can sign up to find out more and get on the list to find out more when it launches. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts, get the video over on Substack or on YouTube. And in fact, I only realized recently you can get a video on Spotify as well. So I'm currently adding that stuff. All right. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. And the benefit of these videos, how I have them set up and saved and so on, is you can watch them anytime. So thanks for being here. I'll see you tomorrow for day 10. We're talking about the dark side of goal setting. Don't miss that. It's important. See you then.